I honestly find it quite baffling, and I can't put my finger on how this webtoon isn't more popular and prominently featured online webtoon. Out of any webtoon that I have read a ton of webtoons from all the way back from 2010, Noblesse being my first, and I have not seen a webtoon this well written, and it's not even close. If you have not read Kubera yet, you need to stop what you're doing and get on this. I'm not kidding. I'm not playing with you. I'm gonna find you if you're not reading it because this is the greatness that everyone needs to be experiencing. A tightly written narrative that's extremely logical and is completely well thought out. Let's talk about it.
時々俺が綺麗どうもそして僕を見て頑張りますあのね Y'all talking time just tick away You ain't clocking hours on the day All that watch is stopping what you claim Dollar crosses real got me name Hoping God just get me out this game
Like and subscribe if you're new and hit the bell down so the ghost that 13-month series doesn't get you and so you can stay notified and listen. I am not the type of person when I'm explaining the synopsis for a story, I'm not going to actually do what a lot of people do, which is explain the first episode or actually start talking about details in the plot. I'm not going to do that to you. And I never will because a lot of the times when people are explaining a story, they'll say, hey, this is a story about a water bottle that meets a cell phone and it's a romance, but there's more to it. Like, obviously, the actual main synopsis and central plot isn't always just the only focus. There's tons of subplots and things that enhance the overall narrative. So I don't feel the need to do that. The synopsis of the story is simple. There's a character with the name of a god named Kubera Lees, country bumpkin living in a village, and essentially her village gets destroyed, and she now has to go off on an adventure with a mysterious magician that saves her life to find out the reasoning behind that. And throughout that journey, finds out that she may be a lot more important than she gave herself credit for, and could possibly save the universe or the world. Boom, bada bing, that's it. Now, let me tell you why you need to be reading this story. This is the best written webtoon that I have come across, and it's not even close. And you guys know I love Tower of God, but Kurigam, the artist and creator of the story, cannot be touched from a writing standpoint. I will admit that it's very easy to look at the artwork and there's a lot to be desired. But just like a lot of manhwa, it gets a lot better as time goes on, especially Kurigam's ability to portray action. If you're a person who needs constant action, you will get that, but you gotta be patient. My favorite two things about this story is one, it is a slow burn, a bit of a IV drip. I'm a patient man, but there is a bit of a rough patch that you may have to push through. But I promise everybody listening to this video, I promise, this is the one narrative where I constantly feel that my patience is rewarded. The long-term payoff is real. Any character, any plot thread, any subplot, whatever the case may be, it will come full circle and it will blow you away. It's phenomenal how tightly written it is, how logical it is, and how all of these characters are extremely multifaceted in ways that you probably couldn't even guess. Kurigam has this ability to have these characters that are already super intriguing and very well written, and then she's like, you know what I'm going to do? Limit break. Now this character has a 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10. Incredible. Second thing, usually a lot of the times in the story, two sides are built up. It could be two nations, it could be two lovers, two rivals, whatever. And you kind of crescendo to a point where they confront and clash, if not fight one another. Kurigam's ability to have one major confrontation have about 8 different moving parts at its point of convergence is not something that I've really ever seen another writer do. I love a lot of writers. They're very talented, from Brandon Sanderson to Nisio Ishin. I mean, I like Malcolm Gladwell. I'm a Murakami fan. And, you know, writers like that, Kazuma. But the way that Kurigam could do this is I've never experienced it to this degree. You'll have two characters who hate each other for whatever reason, but then as an aside, one character knows they can't actually kill this person because it may cause them a problem later on in the story. And while that's happening, somebody from both of their sides or parties, if you will, might be rushing to help. But those two characters actually really hate each other, and then there's probably a mystery that somebody hasn't revealed to somebody else. So the point where all of that is about to meet, you're like, wait a minute, these littler problems might actually be more interesting than the main conflict itself. And it's just phenomenal how she does that. You need to read this story. It is a fantasy, tragedy, romance, all of that. This is not a series that focuses necessarily on action to that degree. It is very lore rich and world building rich. So if you are a fan of lore and world building, this is definitely for you. I'm a guy who cares about character and then story. And to me, this is probably the webtoon with the best cast. It has a constant, ever expanding cast. However, Kurigam to me is one of the very few creative teams, writers, artists, whatever the case, who can actually keep their cast important no matter how far we're going ahead. I'm talking about characters you may have not thought were that important in season 1 can be prominent in season 3, but it doesn't feel jarring. She doesn't sacrifice the development of other characters in service of the main character or the third protagonist or the main duo or whatever. Everyone gets shine. You will love it. This webtoon is a 10 out of 10 for me. I highly suggest you give it a fair chance. Be patient. The payoff is amazing. The story beats, the story reveals, the mysteries, all of that, totally worth it. And I've never gotten a mystery kind of revealed to me and I'm like, that's kind of underwhelming. I'm always like, wait a minute, what? Blows my mind every time. I'm going to stop rambling here, but definitely give it a shot. Artwork gets better. Again, would honestly challenge somebody to present me a better written webtoon, especially from Lion and Naver, right? I would challenge you. I don't think you could do it. Read Kubera. And stay tuned because more Kubera content is coming.
Freshen in my drugs, pour it in my cup, sitting in my darkness with my ghouls, we pouring up. I don't really give a fuck, I don't really have a say. You tell me that I suck, I tell you get up out my face. You got tears in your eyes, looking like a fool.